Well, good morning. It is Sunday. Let's just check here. Sunday, March the 17th. And it's a beautiful sunny morning. It's a little bit cool, but it's a wonderful day. We're going to go straight into the King James Bible, the book of Exodus. And this is chapter 27. I have to say that last night was the world premiere of Appian Media's movie called Out of Egypt. It's a docu-movie, and they document and go to the places in Egypt, and then across the Red Sea and into Sinai and into Jordan. And they did a very good job of it. I was a little disappointed that they didn't go to the Mount Sinai that is generally recognized as Mount Sinai now, because the top of the mountain is blackened and that there's an altar at the base of the mountain. They went to another one that was kind of a little popular and had the St. Catherine's Monastery at the foot of it. And it looked like a bit of a tourist destination because they actually camped up on top of Mount Sinai that night, which quite an experience, but nonetheless, a good movie. I've put the, saved it in my link on YouTube. And so it will be just before this one, which is going up on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube page and the list of the Reading the Bible, you will see that Out of Egypt is in there, and you can watch the whole thing. It's good. It's good. Okay, here we are, chapter 27. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, and all the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass. Upon the net thou shalt make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. Thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the stave shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards thou shalt make it, as it was showed thee in the mount, so shall they make it. And thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen, of 100 cubits long for one side, and 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. And the hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side, in length there shall be hangings in 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars, and their 20 sockets of brass, and the hooks of the pillars, and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their 10 pillars, and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side shall be 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hangings 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be a hanging of 20 cubits, of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. And all the pillars round about the court shall be filleted with silver, and their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere, and the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle and all the service thereof, And all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. And thou shalt command the children of Israel, that they bring thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations, on behalf of the children of Israel. Again, a wonderfully detailed perfection personified in the very fact that God has laid out all the measurements, the detail, the materials, the colors. God chose the colors and the materials and the size as he showed Moses in the mount. So he must have given Moses a vision of what this looked like. You know, he not only had a detailed set of plans, but he had a visual experience of what this was going to look like, the tabernacle. This is what God can do for you. God can give you detailed guidance, not just generalized. He can give you detailed guidance. You know, if you say, well, God told me to go into nursing, he'll tell you which branch of nursing to go into, which branch to specialize in. It's an amazing process when you submit to the will of God. And just as another point of detail that I learned last night from Out of Egypt was that going back now to the end of Genesis, beginning of Exodus, when God said, the Egyptians had arks. They had an ark of a covenant. This was not new to them. They had 4 square altars. They had horned altars. These things were not new to them. But if you remember, the Pharaoh was the god, and then they had other gods, Isis and all this other stuff going on. I mean, they had hundreds of gods, but Pharaoh was the god, the sun god. Ra, I believe it was. And so when God said to Moses, when Moses said, who shall I say sent me? Say, I am sent you. I am. God was saying, I am the only God. All these others are false gods. And what did he do to Pharaoh? And Pharaoh, incidentally, translates into Hebrew as tyrant, but that's nonetheless. What did he do to Pharaoh, who thought he was a god? He reduced Pharaoh to the same pains and trials and tribulations that his people were going through, especially with the death of the firstborn. He brought Pharaoh to his knees as a common man. It says in the Bible, from the firstborn of the Pharaoh to the firstborn of the person in prison. Pharaoh was no different to that person. God treats everybody the same, and God treats everybody the same today. He reduced Pharaoh to the human being that he is. And he showed the people, look, I can make your God suffer the same way that you do. That's how powerful God is. Of course, we know all these other gods are more or less demons. I mean, you know, there's only one true God. But it was an interesting comparison that the Egyptians could understand. And they understood it well. They knew about sacrifice. They knew about atonement. And so the Egyptians had imparted that information to the Israelites. So they were brought up in that same vein. But the Israelites, of course, believed in God. But here's the thing. It was not hard for them to transition. They fully understood when God was giving this to them from Moses. They understood and they could see what was going on. They could see that their God had made the Egyptians' God fall to his knees. So he was no longer really a God at all. they were going to follow the one true God. I just thought that was a fantastic observation. And they made that observation. I just learned from them. That's not one that I made, but they made that observation. There's lots of good commentary in this. And being as we're going through Exodus right now, Out of Egypt is a good movie to watch. I think it totaled about an hour and a half long. They've been working on it for 2 years. It's a wonderful production. Appian Media always puts out something for free. So it was appianmedia.org, or you can get it on YouTube. I think the .org only shows the theatrical presentations, which had free tickets for the premiere, and that's going to be showing in different places in the country, but they showed it on YouTube as well last night on their YouTube channel. So it was a great thing. Now I'm all ready to go to church. The Browders have already done one service already this morning. They're just coming to an end at 9 o'clock. It's 10 to 9 now. I'm getting ready to go for the 10 o'clock service, and then they're going to be singing there and praising God there. And there will be 7 o'clock tonight will be the final chance this weekend to see the Browders. We couldn't make it last night. Trish was very tired, but my friend Shane went, and he said last night was a wonderful evening, a beautiful experience. So something not to be missed if you can make it. The Browders. And that's 200 Church Road, Ortana, PA, Mountaintop Ministries. It's free. Donations are willingly given. Willingly and generously given. Okay? There's no pressure. Only from the Holy Spirit. Speak to you tomorrow. Have a great day and hope to see most of you in church. Bye for now.